Hello, and welcome to Miss Charman's quiz. It's now time for question 1. What is 12 times by 12? Is it A, 142, B, 112, or C, 144? It's now time for question 2. What is 184 rounded to the nearest 10? Is it A, 180, B, 190, or C, 80? What is 1,000 more than 5,631? Is it A, 6,631, B, 7,631, or C, 5,731? For question 4. I'm thinking of a shape. My shape is 3D and has 0 vertices and 0 edges. What shape am I thinking of? Is it A, cuboid, B, sphere, or C, cylinder? Now time for the final question, year 4. What is 1,000 plus 1,000 plus 20 plus 20 plus 1? Is it A, 2,040, B, 2,401, or C, 2,041? Well done, year 4, for joining in my quiz. I'm now going to show you how to do short division. The first thing you need to do is to draw your bus shelter. Make sure you use a ruler. The second thing you need to do is put the number you're dividing by on the outside. This is called the divisor. It's now time for step 3. This is where you put the number you want to divide on the inside of the bus shelter. This is called the dividend. Now we are ready to start our calculation. I'm now going to show you a division calculation which will have a remainder with this answer. As you can see, I've got place value counters on my screen which you can draw if this helps you. The first thing you need to do is work out how many 2's go into 4. We know this is 2, so I'm going to write a 2 in the hundreds column. I now need to work out how many 2's go into 1. We know that we can't do this because 2 is bigger than 1, so I'm going to write a 0 in the tens column. And I'm going to regroup the 1 into the ones column, which means I've now got 13 in my ones column. Finally, how many 2's go into 13? I know that 6 times by 2 is 12, which means I'm going to put a 6 in the ones column, but I've got 1 left over, so I've got a remainder of 1. So I'm going to write R, which means remainder, and 1 next to my answer. So the answer then to the calculation is 413 divided by 2 is 206, remainder 1. I'm now going to give you another example. I'm going to work out what is 515 divided by 2. Just by looking at this calculation, I know there's going to be a remainder, because 515 is an odd number and we divide in by 2. Step 1. How many 2's go into 5? We know that 2 2's go into 5, so I'm going to write a 2 in the hundreds column. And because we've got a remainder of 1, I'm going to regroup the 1, which means we're now into the tens column. So how many 2's go into 11? We know that 5 2's go into 11, so I'm going to write a 5 in the tens column. But again, we've still got a remainder of 1, so I'm going to put that into the ones column, which means I've now got 15 in my ones column because the value of the 1 is obviously 10. Finally then, how many 2's go into 15? I know that 2 times by 7 is 14, which means that there's 7 2's which go into 15, and I've got a remainder of 1, which means that 515 divided by 2 is 257, remainder 1. These are your tasks for today. You don't have to answer all the calculations, only answer as many as you have time for. And you can choose if you want to answer the mild questions, the spicy questions, the spicy plus questions, or the hot questions. Have fun! The starter for today is to try and remember what rucksack means. Have a go at writing this in your book. I'm now going to remind you what rucksack means, so make sure you put your rucksacks on. The R stands for read. This means reading the question carefully. The U stands for understand, which means understanding what the question is asking you and underlining key information. The C stands for choose, which means thinking how will you solve your question. The S stands for solve, which means solving the question. The A stands for getting your answer, and then the C stands for checking your answer makes sense. So you might use rounding to help you, or you might use the inverse to help you. You start by reading the question. So there are 18 stickers in a pack. I have 5 packs. How many stickers do I have in total? You now need to understand what is the question asking you. You need to underline the important information, or you need to highlight it. We're now going to choose how we're going to solve the question. The question is asking us to do 18 times by 5, which means I know I need to use short multiplication to help me with this. Remember, this is a formal written method of multiplication. I'm now using short multiplication to help me solve the answer. I have worked out my answer to 18 times by 5 is 90. As you can see, I've used a bar model to represent my answer, with the whole at the top and the parts at the bottom. The final thing you need to do is check your answer is correct, either using the inverse calculation or using rounding to help you make sure that your answer makes sense. See if you can have a go at working out the answer to this problem by yourself. You can pause the screen here to work out the answer, and you can then watch the screen to see how I solve the problem. However, rather than me using my words to explain how I solve the answer, you're going to use your words to compare my workings out to your workings out. Have fun! Did you get the same answer as me? If not, go back through your answers and check maybe where you might have made a mistake. This also shows you the importance of making sure your workings out are laid out correctly. On the screen are the tasks that you need to complete today. You can choose if you want to have a go at the mild questions, the spicy questions, the spicy plus questions, or the hot questions. Only answer as many as you have time for, but make sure you challenge yourself with your learning. Try and see if you can explain your reasoning too. This is your chili challenge for today. Well done, Year 4. You finished your third week of maths at home. Make sure you share your learning with me on Purple Mash and have a lovely weekend. Bye!